This video is all about pulling my astrological chart using the tropical method of getting the data and the sidereal method of getting the data. So, in order to keep apples to apples or compare apples to apples, I'm just using one Western astrology book. So, I'm not getting my information from all kinds of different sources. I'm just using one book to get the information from. And then the only difference should be how I got my data. So just right off the bat, if you use the tropical method of pulling my chart, my sun is in Capricorn in the 6th house, my moon is in Pisces in the 8th house, and I'm a Leo rising. And if you pull it the sidereal way, my sun is in Sagittarius, still in the 6th house, so that stayed the same. My moon is in Aquarius, still in the 8th house, so that stayed the same. The houses stayed the same on that. And I'm a Cancer rising. Now, let's go through each of these so you can see the differences, and then I'll tell you, I know that I lean more heavily towards the sidereal way of pulling my chart. Like I resonate with the sidereal data and not the tropical data. So first we'll talk about the tropical. The sun, well, actually, let's compare the two suns. So sun in Capricorn, the tropical way, sun in Sagittarius, the sidereal way. Well, everything about Capricorn, steady. You're all about long-term goals, planning, timetables. You have patience. You're able to concentrate and complete tasks. You're really precise. You're orderly. You'd rather do it yourself than have others help you. You could be perceived as kind of cold, but really you're just super self-sufficient. And you're really cautious and conservative with money. Anytime you want to start a new project or anything like that, you research and you're like gathering all this information before you actually start it. And then you need certainty and security. So that's if your sun is in. You also have like a heightened sense of time or like the value of time. You know how long things take to get done. So you have this way of seeing time. And I know this makes me laugh when I see this because like there's no part of that you would use to describe me. So if I never learned this, it would be hard for me to keep picturing myself as being a Capricorn because I really had a hard time doing that because I just really didn't fit into any of those boxes. So now that I know this, though, now that I know that when I pull my astrological chart using the sidereal method, my sun is in Sagittarius. So I've got this expansive personality. You're one of those people where the grass is always greener. So sometimes you'll start a project and you drop it with no reason or anything just because you saw something else over there and there you go. So you definitely need excitement. You're restless. You can't be bored with anything. Like being bored is the worst. You always want to know. See, this is why this just hits the nail on the head too for me. I always want to know. I'm like, but why? But why? So there has to be a reason for this, but I need to know the reason. So that's another reason that I am just like so resonating with the sun, with the sidereal pole and the sun in Sagittarius. This also ties into, because I think I'm going to do another video on how this ties in with your soul contract too, your soul contract chart, because you, as a sun Sagittarius, you rarely talk about your feelings and instead you talk about what you think about your feelings. So that's also interesting. And freedom is the most valuable thing to you. You can't be tied down. You need to be free to, do whatever. Like, again, the grass greener. If you want to move, if you want to do this, you need to have the freedom to be able to do that. You can also be like extravagant, wasteful. So whereas Capricorn was all good with money, and no, you could be really irresponsible and things like that. So, but you have a really likable personality, whereas maybe Capricorns are perceived like we said, like cold or something like that. So yeah, I very much resonate with the sun being in Sagittarius in my sidereal chart. Now, if you look at the sixth house didn't change. So even though the signs changed, the sixth house didn't change in there. Now let's look at the moon. So if you pull the tropical way, my moon is in Pisces. And yes, again, I might see some of these things, but they're to an extreme that I don't think that I resonate with my moon being in Pisces, the tropical way. If your moon is in Pisces, you are really a dreamer. You just escape. You're all about escapism. You're not usually tuned into what's going on in the everyday world because your mind is like up in the clouds, basically. You interpret things as you would like them to be instead of how they actually are, and you see everything through some romanticized filter. So I don't see, sometimes maybe I could be a version of those things, but, and also very artistically creative. So I just think that is not as accurate as if you do the sidereal pole and my moon is in Aquarius. So this is where you're intellectual, but you're emotionally detached. So that's that air sign, right? So the moon being in an air sign, which is Aquarius. So yes, you take emotions, but then you intellectualize all of them too. And so that also ties into my soul contract chart, the sevens in my soul contract chart. So, but like I said, I'll do another video on that. You're unconventional and you have really there's like a witty conversationalist thing about you. So you can charm people with your wit. You're intuitive. And you love other people's problems. I am so guilty of this. So, yeah, if you sit down and you go, oh, God, you know what happened? I drop everything. Like, yeah, okay, I need to know then what happened. It's all about higher learning, like science, math. And generally, I wouldn't say like I'm good at science and math, but I feel like astrology and like these soul contract things are science and they involve math. And yeah, I can't do math in my head, but I love putting numbers on papers and finding out where they lead me. So again, so the moon heavily leaned towards the sidereal way of pulling that. And then so my Leo rising and Cancer rising, again, very different. Leo rising is you're just lucky. You have luck in money, careers. You have a lot of friends. You love people. People love you. You're not a super hard worker, but you get things. Sometimes you achieve things because you know somebody who knows somebody who then helps you out. So it's that kind of thing. You're really expansive. You don't get petty with people. Like generally you like people. And then obviously everything you think about Leo too, the showmanship, the lavish lifestyle, like lavish decorations, parties, clothes, and you just generally give the impression that life is fun. And again, you have a hard time thinking anything bad about people. If you're a Cancer rising, then you're very sensitive to the emotional signals from others. So, whereas Leo is just loving everybody, you as a Cancer rising, whenever you get around someone's energy, that's how you decide if they're good or not, or if you like them or not. And so, this is very telling too, because this was also a fight that my ex-boyfriend and I used to have like constantly, because he was very much a social butterfly, and he would introduce me to people all the time, and I just said, depending on the person and depending on the feeling that I got from them, I would say, no, I don't like that person, like he's a turd. And he would get so mad at me because he would just say, you're so judgmental, you like hate everybody. And I would say, I don't hate everyone. I'm just telling you that that person right there that you just introduced me to, I don't like, and I feel like he's a turd. So that's the difference between a Leo rising and a Cancer rising. And you're very you're very insightful when it comes to people's motivation. Well, that's another thing. You can pick up on people's motivation. Whereas Leo, I don't know if they would care. They just like being around people. I don't even think they think about that. But Cancers are really cognizant of people's motivation. So you might also get like offended easily, even if nothing happened. But you're good in business. And you're good in business because you can put in the work. Whereas the Leo risings might be not really about work or anything like that. They're about, well, how can I climb some social ladder or something so I can get more of what I want or something like that. So, yeah. So again, I am so much more leaning towards the Cancer rising than I am the Leo rising. And again, it depends on your whole entire chart. Like I said, sometimes I have some Leo traits, but that's because I have Jupiter in Leo. If you want to learn how to pull your sidereal chart, and I'm not saying you're going to you're going to be like me, where it's like, yes, everything is you're going to lean towards the sidereal way of doing it, but you may want to just pull it for fun and see, because maybe you're thinking something about yourself that's not really as accurate as it could be. So the link to my website is going to be in the description, and you can go on there and I'll show you how to pull it. Or if you don't want to, I know some people, they're not going to sit down and take, 15 minutes, half an hour, or whatever it takes you to figure this out. So if you want me to do it, I'll do it for you. And yes, it will take me some time, but so that's why I charge a fee for that. But I can definitely do it for you too. And then I'll give you a reading of your entire chart using the sidereal method of pulling the data, and then you can kind of compare to what you already know, like what you've already learned about your astrology, because chances are that's going to be from the tropical side. So if you have any questions, let me know.